Welcome to Picks with the Professor, the sports betting show hosted by an actual statistics professor. We are going to be talking about Thursday, March 13th here, coming off of a triumphant return to the show industry, Jake, as, I don't know how many people took note that we were back, but we emphatically said yes, we were back. But I am going to point all the credit in your direction, sir. Very well done.
It wasn't just me. You had your model landed it right. They had us picking the right moves right there. And then just Iowa State played along. I guess they listened in and were like, "Hey, yeah, we can do this and win by 20. Make Jake look smart."
And something that we were talking a lot actually today in our Discord about, and again, one of the benefits of being on Dub Club is this Discord access to chat. There, I was talking about a statistic that I had seen recently here that talked about teams playing their first game in a conference tournament against teams not playing their first game, covered against the spread in the 53 to 54% rate across a relatively large sample of games. And what did that mean? Because we even had it in chat. We had some winners that one of our other handicappers provided for us that went against that grain. And the point wasn't that you can't do this or you should do this, but it was a really good discussion. And I think it applied here as well, where we say the fact that we know that the quote-unquote rested team is going to outperform the spread, in my opinion, likely because people are overreacting to what they just saw. That happens a lot. And as a statistician, I'm trying to be skeptical of that. So it makes a lot of sense to me to be, skeptical of what you just saw happening. There's also the fact that they had that extra time to game plan. Sometimes it's extra rest for guys. Who knows what it is. But it's not that it's the determining factor, and this had a part in Iowa State, Cincinnati. Iowa State was the fresh team. Cincinnati wasn't. It wasn't that it was the deciding factor. It's just that knowing that lowers the bar a little bit if you're on that rested team. Makes it where you kind of a lean maybe becomes more of a play. And if you are on the other side of it, where you're going with a team that's already played, maybe the bar's raised just a little bit. And that means you really should like it, but it doesn't mean don't do it. We're just raising the bar a little bit. And that's, I think, what we're trying to do with the model here. The model is trying to help tell us, where is that bar? Where should it be? And then now sometimes we have to add in some other things that maybe the model isn't considering. And so that's why we have these discussions. That's why we have this show. It started in its roots, of course. I want to help people make money, but it's also about educating people, becoming smarter bettors, teaching people how to fish, not just giving them a fish, blah, blah, blah. Jake, I said a lot of words. Say something, or else I'll just keep talking all night long.
I mean, we also talked about the money line aspect, and I mean, the Arkansas game was a perfect example of that. You had a very tight spread that moved a couple points. If you're late to it, this is a benefit of being in the Discord. I gave it out late last night at -2.5. I think it was given out a couple other times at 3.5.
3.5. Yeah. I know someone came back at 4 even because they were happy they got the push.
Yeah, like this benefit.
A lot of discussion about that today.
Yep. But
not after the fact, before it, about the bets people were doing. It was all over the chat today.
Yeah, and I mean, money line makes a lot of sense there because you're dealing with kids that make foolish plays, like Trayvon Brazil throwing that ball. I'm not sure what he was doing there at the end of the game, and that swung the 4 from whoever had the 4 to. That was the swing that he needed to go from winning the push.
And for sure, T's and P's to all of the people out there who weigh 4.5, because God, that hurts. But it is ironic. We were just talking about this. Thank you for bringing that back up. And it applied not at all to Iowa State, but we were just talking about this, that sometimes you got to go money line, and sometimes if you're going spread, you just have to try to get the best of them. Now, how do you do that? It's not a perfect venture, but in the model helps try to point us in that direction. We know we're not always going to get the best of the number. No one can. That's impossible. You would love to, and you want to as many times as you can. So again, we're talking about huge benefit to having a model, even the other models that we're providing, some of the other free models that are out there, just making sure you can kind of look at it one place, just a direction to be pointed in and try to get the best of the number. We talked about that yesterday. It didn't apply to Iowa State, absolutely did apply to Arkansas. And so, yeah, a lot of things just popping up here left and right. That is a lot of talk already. Hopefully you enjoyed that. We'll get right to it here, though. Again, some quick reminders. Player-based model that does matter here because it reflects the current roster, so injuries, all those things. We are accounting for that. The average grade's 100 higher, applies more points, so offenses want to be higher, defense want to be lower. We are projecting an average game, one game. We do not know at all what will happen. We cannot predict it. No one can. All we are saying is if we can try to get the best of the number, we're going to be more successful. And that's all we are guided by here, that we win more when we win than we lose when we lose. We will lose a lot, but we will win more when we win than we lose when we lose. And that's what guides us here. And so moving forward, if you want to get more insights, more projections, all sorts of picks for hockey that just destroyed here. We're recording this on Wednesday night. I don't know how Wednesday night's going, but Tuesday night was like up 7 units on hockey or something like that. Continue to do really well, bouncing back from a little bit of a blip that we are rocketing back from here. All sorts of benefits here. New low pricing, $29.99 per month. And the link in the show description, half off your first month. Sign up today for that. But without further ado, Butler and St. John's. I feel like if I could do impressions, this would be your Gus Johnson. The only thing missing is it's not in prime time or whatever, you would do. I know it's terrible. But this does feel like, St. John's in the Garden, the thing he would get super hyped about. I don't know if he'll be doing this game or not, but a St. John's team that has just rocketed up. I feel like if you blinked, you could have missed it. We knew last year they were starting to play better. We saw all sorts of signs. This year there was optimism, but just all of a sudden, coming to life here and back in, Pitino back in the day, basically on this one, just doing an excellent job. Model has them at number 11. They're going to play Butler. It's the same thing we just talked about. St. John's first game of the tournament. Butler played already. So what does that mean? It doesn't mean St. John's for sure is going to cover. What it means is that just lowers the bar a little bit. So if you like it, that, if you like it, maybe now you like it a lot. If you like it a lot, maybe now you love it. Just bump it up just a little bit now because we have a little bit of extra something on our side that the public may be misvaluing what's happening here. The model says St. John's wins by an average of 14.5. We are going to lay, Jake, the official number 12.5, I believe. Tell us why, and also, as yesterday, what number are you playing it up to? In the event it goes up, if it doesn't, great. I want people to get the best number possible. But if it does go up, what number are we going up to?
I'm playing it right to that 14 number. I think 15 or more is a little tricky here with what was his name? Smith being questionable. He's not a huge point scorer, but it's an extra body that plays. It's a starter that plays a lot of minutes, does a lot of good things defensively. Pitino, great coach. Love this. I mean, he killed the transfer portal. I thought he got the best signing out of everybody with Kadari Richardson, and that was it's not talked about enough how good that guy is. He's a triple double threat every night. The way he plays, the way he's so smart. He made the steal. They gave him every tip the ball they get bounced to the right guy that helped him win the Marquette game in overtime the other night. He's just everywhere all the time. An incredible player. And then Luis Jr. is just an all-star. He's just leading the team in scoring and putting up close to 20 plus a night, killing it. The St. John's team with Pitino coaching is nasty, and as you can see, their defense way up there on everybody's model. And that's what you expect out of a Pitino team is pressure defense, forcing turnovers. Butler, they're just not that great. That model's doing a lot with a little. Tonight
on the offensive end, that's very good. I'm not going to say that's necessarily the ceiling for Butler, but that's getting up there, right? I know Butler had some really good teams, but we still wouldn't expect Butler to have an offense perennially in the top 10, right? The 42 is not bad. It's the defense part that I'm looking at that I'm a little scared about.
Yeah. Like you said, even tonight with Providence, that's a short-handed Providence team that's been struggling all year. They beat them pretty decent, but they also gave up 59 total rebounds to Providence. I mean, that's a lot of missed shots that Providence wasn't able to do anything with. And if you do that to St. John's, they're going to get run out of the gym. The home game plus pretty much a home game for St. John's. Being rested, Butler playing a game, even though it wasn't that tight, they still had to play all 40 minutes. People played most of their minutes. I got a feeling that Smith plays, but it's just on a limited count just to keep him loose as we're going through this conference tournament. Plus, St. John's has a outside shot on 1 seed if things fall right with a lot of help from everybody else, and then they beat the teams they're supposed to beat and win this Big East tournament. Could be fun. So I think they got a little bit to play for. And Pitino's never been a guy to pull back. He's always go. So I think there's a good chance they get ahead, they stay ahead, and then you see that all game in this game. And I just don't think Butler has enough on the offensive side right now to really stay in this game.
And I think it's hilarious you mentioned that he's always been that go, because over the years we've seen different coaches have different approaches there, and every one of them have some success and some failures. I think a lot of that's overblown, but that's neither really here nor there. Jake, that was a great point that you brought up that I had neglected to mention earlier, so thank you for mentioning it. Home game for St. John's, pseudo home game. They've already played 9 games at the Garden this season. So this being the 10th one, they're very used to it. They play a lot of games there every year. Villanova does the same thing in Philly, playing at the Sixers Arena, right? Where the only time they don't is when they have to abide by the NCAA policy if it's a year that venue is hosting in the regional and they want to be able to play there. I believe they can only play 3 games there in the entire regular season, or else it's considered a home venue. So I know teams have backed off it. But other than that, we know this is a thing, right? And so because of that, I had to weigh whether or not to give St. John's a full home court advantage or a half home court advantage, because it's pretty much normal business for them. I went with half. And the reason why is, I thought it was better to be conservative, knowing that was the side that we were already leaning towards in the first place. I didn't want to bias the model and give it extra help to St. John's. So I'm only giving them a half home court edge. I also think the fact that this game is at noon. I also think the fact that this is the Big East tournament. This is you're going to Madison Square Garden, basketball mecca, whatever, right? Like, people make pilgrimages to there. I'm not sure it's going to be like a normal home game for St. John's. Part of that is the location. Part of it is the, crowd is all their fans, and they can literally fill up as many as they want, capacity-wise to that. Whereas here, I think there will be enough people from all these other schools and people just wanting to see basketball that I think it will be like a little bit of a home game for St. John's, but not even full. So you can argue the merits of full, 3/4, half, whatever. There is some edge for St. John's playing in that building. There is some edge for the fact that they are the rest of the team that we talked about, knowing that we get a little bit of a boost against the spread because of the recency bias. So there's some reasons there that even being on the conservative side, the model still says 14.5, which is, like you said, right around where you wanted to play it. Jake, I wanted to mention a couple of other things here. First off, biggest though, just benefits of Dub Club here. Extra information, extra picks. Jake, you have other picks that you had liked for today. I forgot to mention this yesterday. As I've mentioned before, I'm a terrible salesman. I just do the math. You had other picks that you liked, and you have other picks that you like today. You've been giving out over on Discord. So if someone's watching this and says, hey, I really like what Jake's saying, I kind of want to hear what he thinks about whatever, that's available to everyone on Dub Club. Other people as well. We've got other good handicappers, great discussion, great benefits there. And all the information here from the model, there's a little sample output there for this Butler St. John's game. If you are a visual person, we have this more in chart form. If you are more, a person who likes to read through things, I guess, I don't know. All the information available in different ways that you can digest it to help you become a better. Otherwise, you can also support the show in other ways. We have a picks only package for $9.99 per month, just the picks, no extra details. First month for only $1. That part is only eligible to first time customers. But I do want to just mention anyone who's been a previous customer before and is not with us for any reason, come back, check us out. The half off your first month. Anyone can get it, even if you've been a subscriber before, or even if not, if you were dissatisfied with something that happened, shoot me a message and we'll see. We'll get you back on board here, because if you're still watching, you think we've got some good things to say, and I want to help people. And so let's figure out how to do that. Jake, I'm tossing the ball back to you now.
Yeah, look, this is a great month to give it a try out, right? You've got baseball coming up towards the end of the month. You've got all hockey, which is just printing money. You get all the March Madness stuff, which is the most fun to bet right now, because that's just what everybody gets into. The couple weeks of the year gets you through that. That's a great time to get involved. And you can reach out on all the social media. You got Twitter or X, whatever it's called now, Instagram, TikTok, whatever you find it. Reach out to us. We'll get you figured out and make up for what's going on and get you back in the fold.
Absolutely. Very well said. And Jake, today here, again, we're recording this late Wednesday night. When you're watching this, it will be yesterday, but so I'll say it yesterday. You got us an easy winner early in the day, before lunchtime, even on the West Coast. And now we are going to try to do the same thing again here with St. John's. So just a reminder, if you're still with us, St. John's, we are playing it officially -12.5 now. Jake, you're up to 14. No big deal if it goes a little bit higher. But again, we always do want to get the best of the number. Parting words, Jake, before we sign off.
No, this is just my favorite time of the year. March Madness is just, when I eventually run for president and get elected, it's going to be a national holiday the whole month. So you're aware.
Maybe let's start with like 4 days. Let's start with that. Let's not get too ambitious here, all right? For that, I don't know. A lot of people might be a little bit concerned about the state of the economy with the whole month off thing. But I don't know. Other countries figure out how to do it, so that would be literally the coolest thing ever. But that's neither here nor there. As always, if you're still with us, thank you so much for watching. We wish you the best of luck and remind you that you can eat your betting money, but please don't bet your eating money.